like I never really cared because I always had something, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I do music because I just love to do music. Like music is something I just love to do, whether I was doing it for free or getting paid to do it, whether I was ghostwriting or just doing a freestyle or whatever it may have been. I did that stuff just because I wanted to do it, not because I was trying to be 40 million records sold or no shit like that. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't a thing. You know, did I come across contracts? Yeah, maybe. That shit probably did happen, but that wasn't the thing. It was just kind of like I do it because I want to do it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. I mean, when I started being serious about it, I wasn't even after money. It was like I really love music. Like one of my older cousins was a house DJ, and so like when I was a little kid, I used to be around, as my mom calls him. This how much I was around. My mom calls him Ferris Thomas because she remembers Little Ferris. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up around that stuff, and so when I started doing music and started DJing, it was just for a love of it. But once I got into it and I kind of saw how the whole thing was, I was like, okay, you can do radio, you can tour with artists. I was like, there's really no. I mean, I had radio shows and, you know, and I did all that stuff. I did mixtapes. A lot of people don't know, a lot of cats, I was ghost mixtape DJing for a lot of people. People would hear the mixtape like, oh, that's DJ such and such. I'm like, no, they sent me their drops. I did their mixtapes. But hey, whatever makes you feel better, I got paid for it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, it was just like, where else can you go with this? Like, I mean, how many nights can I be in the club? Like, how many times I'm gonna have to play these same records? Like, see the same people? Like,
I always wanted to have that question with you, like, yo, I know this is cool for a while, but I always wanted to ask you that, whether I saw you out or whether I saw you somewhere local, chilling out somewhere on your computer, on your laptop, you know, doing your thing. I always wanted to sit and ask you those type of questions about, like, man, he working, and when the man is working, you kind of just leave him alone, you know. So I never got a chance to really ask you that, like, did it ever it got boring, right?
So I'm gonna tell you what happened. So pure happenstance, I started working as a production assistant at GCI. Okay. Pure happenstance. I met Elroy Smith, didn't know who he was. Randomly, we were talking in a conversation. He was asking me what radio station I like. And I'm like, man, I listen to B96 a lot because I like a lot of different kinds of genres. I'm like, I used to listen to GCI, but they just play too much music. He was like, I was like, they talk too much. And he was like, for real? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, they used to just play a lot of music, but I'm like, now it's just all this conversation. It's too much commercials. He was like, I appreciate you being honest. He gave me his card. I was like, give me a call. And I was like, oh, crap. So I ended up working over there. At that time, I was starting to get into DJing. And then next thing I know, I started being with artists and it just kind of took off. After a while, bro, like I was doing online radio stations. I'm going to clubs 4 or 5 nights a week. I'm traveling with artists. After a while, I was like, what else am I going to do? Like, I'm on the biggest station in the Midwest. I go to parties everywhere. I'm getting flown out to do stuff everywhere. I'm doing mixtapes. I'm like, how much more can I do with this? And then you start growing. Okay, so I was fairly young. I was like 23, 24 getting into that. But I'm growing. And I'm like, wait a minute. We ain't got no 401k. We ain't got no dental. We ain't got no nothing. I mean, even on the radio side, the way it was set up then was like, you get paid per mix that played. So like if you are the top name, you might get $150 for your mix getting played, but that's not a lot because your mix might get played, maybe once a day? If you lucky to be one of the people that's every day, 5 days a week, you get that. But everybody else getting $40, $50. That's why they always pumping their name so that they can get the club gigs. So I'm like, this ain't even a long-term thing. I'm like, this is cool for a young man, but I'm like, bro, I'm getting older. I'm like, I can't grow anything with this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I didn't want to be one of the people that's like really like trying to really, really push hard on one of these, the DJ groups. There were groups that I was affiliated with and I rocked with, but I was like, if I'm not starting a group, I'm still not going to have that same push on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, and then it's, you know, quite honestly, the thing with the artists, because even though it's a lot of dope artists in Chicago, every artist thinks they're the best artist. Every song they think is the best song, and every song deserves the video. And I'm like, how do we pay for this stuff?
Like, that's not really how it go. So,
it's not. It's not.
Even with me trying to tell some of the young guys, it's like, dude, every song ain't the one.
It's not.
I mean, like, if you're looking to sell that type of music, then focus on. Don't always focus on that, but when you do focus on it, make sure you know that you got it right, because it's songwriting at that point. It ain't just about shoot 'em up, bang bang, like you're writing songs. You know what I mean? And some of them didn't understand that. And I would tell them, you could sit here and write 100 songs in a week, and all of them might be a dud, except for that one. And it might be the one that you kind of want to just throw away. You know what I mean? So I used to tell them all the time, man, just make music just to make it. You know, make music that makes you happy. Make music that makes you feel good. Because when you're trying to do that, at some point you're gonna get the hit, and then you're gonna get the hit, and then you're gonna think you can keep doing it. And there might be a time when you run out of that shit.
Yeah. And you know, I did it for 10 years.
Yeah, I saw you, man. Yeah, I saw you, man.
It was real cool, but then, you know, like I said, it started to kind of not have the same feeling. And then I was doing a spot in I don't even know what suburb that is, but it was like 2 blocks away from Adriana's. Me and DJ Reese, we was doing this spot. I opened up, I did like 9 to like 12:30. He was doing like 12:30 to like 2. And a fight broke out in this joint. And when the fight broke out, different groups are fighting. This dude got shot in the face 5 times, bro. I was like, I'm done with this. I ain't done with